Hello everyone. In this video you will learn how to use Python to write programs and to do the task in only few minutes that would take hours without having programming experience. Once you have mastered the basics of programming, then you can build your own apps and projects. So this video will help you to improve your programming skills. If you are new to this channel, then please subscribe this channel and press the bell icon to get the latest notification. Why you should learn Python? Python is very much popular because it is highly productive as compared to other languages like C, C++, Java. Python is very famous for its simple programming syntax, code readability, and English-like commands that make the coding easier and efficient. Python is one of the fastest growing programming language. Python is easy to use. It offers many features like high built-in data structure, support modules, and cost-effective packages. Google, YouTube, Facebook, Netflix, and many other popular brands are using Python and running the platform with billion users. Python is also used for data analysis and to visualize our data in the form of charts, graphs, plots. It comes with features like extensive library. Python is one of the emerging languages that help with a range of web development projects. So in this video we will cover up everything from starting to end. Okay, so first of all, download Python IDE from www.python.org. Download the latest version of Python. After downloading the Python, install the Python in your computer system. Now click on Next Now button. New dialog box will appear. Now the setup is successful. After installing the Python, open the Python IDE. What is Python? Python is a general purpose object-oriented programming language. It means in Python we deal with classes and objects. Python is a high-level programming language. It was developed in late 1980s by Guido van Rossum at National Research Institute for Mathematics and Computer Science in the Netherlands. It was derived from programming languages such as ABC, Modula 3, Smalltalk, Algol 68. It is an open source scripting language. Means we can download Python free of cost and the source code is also available. It is case sensitive language. It means it reads uppercase and lowercase letters differently. Now we will study the basic operations which we can perform in Python programming language. We can add two numbers in Python. For example, 1 plus 2 that is equal to 3. 1 plus 3.5 that is equal to 4.5. 100 plus 45 is equal to 145. We can also subtract two numbers like 100 minus 45 is equal to 55. Similarly, we can perform multiplication division operations in Python. Three into 2 is equal to 6. 3.5 into 1.5 is equal to 5.25. Three divided by 2 that is equal to 1.5. 4 divided by 2 that is equal to 2.0. Next we can also perform floor division. In floor division we only get the integer part. The decimal part is removed. For example, 3 divided by 2 that is equal to 1. So 0.5 is removed. In the output we get 1. Next is modulus operator. Modulus operator gives the remainder. For example, 9 percentage 2. 9 divided by 2 we get 1 as the remainder. So in the output we will get 1. Next is raised to power. 2 raised to power 2. 2 into 2 is equal to 4. 2 raised to power 10 is equal to 1024. Next we will study how we can write program in Python programming language. So whatever you want to print on the screen, which you want to display on the screen, will be enclosed in double quotes or single quotes. For example, here we want to print hello world. So we will type print and in the bracket we will type hello world, which will be enclosed in double quotes. So in the output we will get hello world. Similarly, we want to display hello on the screen. So we will type print. In the bracket, we will write hello, which will be enclosed in double quotes. In this video, we will discuss if statement, if else statement, elif statement, and nested if statement. So first of all, what is a program? A program is a set of statements executed in a sequence to perform any operation or any task. A program consists of a set of statements. The control and the flow of a program in any programming language can be classified into three categories. First is sequence, Second is selection or decision. Third is iteration or looping. Now we will discuss it one by one. So first is sequential. Sequential statements in the program are executed in a sequence order or in a linear fashion, one after another. Second is selection or conditional statements. When the program uses a condition to decide which set of statements to be executed between alternate set of statements, that is called conditional statements. For example, if statement. Third is iterative or looping. When a certain set of statements need to be executed multiple times in a loop. So the loop is executed again and again until the condition is satisfied. What is if statement? When condition is true. जब condition true होगी, then the statements associated with if statement will execute. Now we are applying a condition if a is greater than b. a greater than b. अगर a जो है b से बड़ा है, then we will print a is greater than b. Okay. Take another example. a is equal to 5. So we have applied the condition. हमने इस condition दी है if a is equal to 5. जब a जो है 5 के equal हो जाएगा, then we will print a is equal to 5. Next is if else statement. When the condition is true, then the code associated with if statement will execute. Otherwise, if the condition is false, then the another set of statements will be executed. The syntax for if else statement is if expression statement else another set of statements will be executed. For example, a is equal to 10, b is equal to 20. So we have applied the condition if a is greater than b. Then we will print a is greater else b is greater. अगर a greater नहीं होगा तो कौन सा greater होगा? That is b. So b will be greater. Second example is a is equal to 5. So we have applied the condition a is equal to 5. We are checking the condition whether the number is equal to 5. So if the number is equal to 5, then we will print a is equal to 5, else a is not equal to 5. Next is elif statement. Elif statement is also known as else if statement. It allows you to check multiple expressions and then a series of statements will be executed based on the condition. For example, if a is equal to 10, b is equal to 20. So we have applied the condition if b is greater than a. Then we will print b is greater than a. elif, okay, we will use elif. We will write elif b is greater than c. b is greater than c. Next is nested if statement. What does nested if statement means? If we have if statement inside another if statement. जब हम if statement को यूज़ करेंगे inside if statement, ठीक है, जब हमारे पास बहुत सारी statements होंगी and we have to apply the condition. We will apply the condition and based on that the statements they are executed. There are different ways of writing if statements. Moving to our next topic, iteration or looping. Looping means to execute a set of statements repeatedly until a given condition is found true. There are two types of loops in Python, while loop and for loop. So let us discuss them one by one. While loop executes a part of a program repeatedly until the given condition is satisfied. For example, we have to print a table of 2. So we have taken a variable I is equal to 2. Now we will apply the condition while I is less than equal to 20. So ये loop कब तक चलेगा? जब तक I की value less than equal to 20. Then we will print the value and we have incremented the value of I by 2. So let me quickly show you the output so that it will be clear to you. So as you can see कि इसमें जो I की value है वो 2 से start हो रही है और फिर जो I की value है वो 2 से increment होगी. So पहले 2 print होगा फिर 4 print होगा. अब ये जो loop है कब तक ये loop जो है चलता रहेगा और ये loop कब तक चलेगा? जब तक I की value जो है 20 नहीं हो जाती, ठीक है, तो 20 तक चलेगा ये loop. Next is for loop. For loop execute a set of statements repeatedly until a given condition is true. Let us look at some examples. For letter in Python, print letter. So the output will be first letter P will be printed, then Y will print T H O N. Next example. In this example we are checking whether the number is an even. So we have taken a list numbers is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4 till so on to 10. So we have taken 10 numbers. Now we are applying for loop for n in numbers. So we have taken a variable that is n in numbers if n is divisible by 2. अगर जो n है वो 2 से डिविजिबल है, सो इट इज़ अ इवन नंबर. नेक्स्ट एग्जांपल, फॉर I in 1 2 3 print welcome I times. So we have taken a variable that is I, print welcome one time, then the value of I is equal to 2. It will print welcome 2 times, then the value of I is equal to 3 and it will print welcome 3 times. Next example, write a program to generate the table of a number. So for example, we want to print the table of number 3. So we have taken a variable num is equal to 3. So we are printing the table of 3. For I in range. Now what is I? I is any variable. I in range 1 comma 11. Print num comma x comma I is equal to num into I. Moving to next topic, that is nested loop. What is a nested loop? A loop which is inside another loop. That is called a nested loop. One of the best example of nested loop is that if we want to print any pattern or we want to print a pyramid. Next topic is range function. It generates a list of numbers which is generally used to iterate over with for loop. Range function uses 3 types of parameters. First is start, second stop, third step. So what is start? That is a starting number of the sequence. What is stop? It is the stop generates numbers. What is stop? Stop is the last number. Next is step. What is step? That is the interval, difference between each number in the sequence. Python uses range function in 3 ways. First is range stop, range start comma stop, range start comma stop comma step. So we will discuss it one by one. First is range stop. So it will start from 0. Okay, it will start from 0 and increment by 1. For example, for x in range bracket 4, in the bracket we have written 4. Print x. We are printing the value of x. So in the output we will get 0. It will start from 0. So we will get 0. Then it will increment it by 1. Then 2. And in the end we will get 3. So it will run till 3. The end value, that is 4. End value is 4. So it will print till end minus 1. Next is range start comma stop. So in this we have mentioned the starting value also and we have written the stop value also. For example, x in range 2 comma 6. Print x. So it will start from 2. Then the value will be incremented by 1. So 2 के बाद क्या आएगा 3, 3 के बाद आएगा 4, 4 के बाद क्या आएगा 5. तो 5 तक जो वैल्यू है इसकी प्रिंट होगी. नेक्स्ट इज रेंज start comma stop comma step. So in this we have mentioned the step also, that is the interval. For example, for x in range 3 comma 8 comma 2. So starting value is 3 से start होगा. अब इसमें हमने गैप दे दिया है, ठीक है, इंटरवल दे दिया है कि 2 का जो है इंटरवल होगा. सो इसकी वैल्यू जो है वो 2 से इंक्रीमेंट होगी. तो 3 के बाद क्या आएगा 5. 3 + 2 दैट इज इक्वल टू 5. और उसके बाद कौन सी वैल्यू प्रिंट होगी, दैट इज 7. नेक्स्ट इज जंप स्टेटमेंट. There are 2 types of jump statement in Python, that is break and continue. Break statement. The break statement can be used with for loop or while loop. The break statement terminates the loop and moves the control to the next statement after the loop structure. The remaining statements of the loop will not be executed. Look at this example. Here I is equal to 1. Then we have given the condition while I is less than equal to 6. Print I. If I is equal to 3, break. और I की वैल्यू जो है वो 1 से इंक्रीमेंट हो रही है. I प्लस इक्वल टू 1. सो I कहाँ से स्टार्ट होगा 1 से, ठीक है. देन इट विल इंक्रीमेंट. सो I की वैल्यू क्या हो जाएगी 2 और फिर I की वैल्यू क्या हो जाएगी 3. ना यहाँ पे कंडीशन दे रखी है इफ़ I इज इक्वल टू 3 तो क्या होगा, ब्रेक हो जाएगा. सो इट विल कम आउट ऑफ द लूप. सो द रिमेनिंग स्टेटमेंट्स, रिमेनिंग वैल्यूज विल नॉट बी प्रिंटेड. नेक्स्ट इज कंटिन्यू स्टेटमेंट. It will cause to skip the remaining statements in the loop and moves the control to the beginning of the loop for the next iteration. In this video, we will study how we can deal with data in Python. Different type of data Next we will talk about reference variable and how we can store the data. Okay, so let us start this video. Python has a predefined set of data types to handle the data in a program. We can store any type of data in Python. Data can be of any type. It can be character, integer, or real number, complex number, or string. Anything that is enclosed in inverted commas is considered as a string in Python. Any value with fraction part is a real value. True or false specifies Boolean value. You can see Python supports the following core data types. First is number. Number data types store numerical values. For example, 10, 15, 3.5. In Python, each value is an object and has data type associated with it. Python can easily differentiate one data type from another when you write and run your statement. Int stands for integer. Floating point number. Floating point numbers are written with a decimal point that separates the integer from the fractional numbers. For example, 3.14, 6.0, etc. Next is complex number. Complex number in Python are made up of a pair of real and imaginary number. For example, x plus yj, x plus iota y, where x is a real part and y is the imaginary part. Next is string. String is a sequence of characters that can be a combination of letters, numbers, and special symbols enclosed within the quotation marks, single or double quotes or triple quote. For example, Pankaj. So here Pankaj is a string. Next is Boolean. Boolean data type represents one of the two values that is either true or false. Next is none. This is a special data type with a single value. It is used to signify the absence of any value or condition. Means we have not given any value, we have not assigned any value to the variable. So it is represented by none. Python does not display anything when we give a command to display the value of a variable containing the value as none. So as you can see that numbers can be of any type, that is integer, floating point, complex number. Sequence can be classified into string. Next we will understand the type of data in Python. If you want to determine the type of a variable, i.e. that is what type of a value does it holds or points to, then the type function can be used. For example, type in the bracket we have written 10. So it belongs to the class int. Int stands for integer. Next we have written type in the bracket we have written 8.2. So we get the class that is float. So it is a decimal number, floating number. Next type in the bracket we have written 22 upon 7. So it belongs to the class that is float. Type true. So it belongs to the class Boolean. Type in the bracket we have written false. So it belongs to the class that is Boolean. Next is type in the bracket we have written hello. So it belongs to the class str. Str stands for string. Next we have written x is equal to hello, w is equal to 18, c is equal to 3 plus 2j, pi is equal to 3.14159. Now we will check the data type of all these variables. Type x, so it belongs to the class that is str. Type y, it belongs to the class int, integer. Type pi, it belongs to the class float. Type c, it belongs to the class complex. Values are assigned to variables using assignment operator. Next we will study mutable and immutable types. In Python, the objects can be categorized into two types, that is mutable and immutable. Mutable means which can be changed and immutable means which cannot be changed. For example, consider these following statements. P is equal to 10, Q is equal to P, R is equal to 10. So here we have assigned value 10 to the variable that is P. So P represents 10. Next, we have taken Q is equal to P. So the value which was initially given to P variable, that is now equal to q. So the value of q is also equal to 10. Next we have written r is equal to 10. So all these variables represents 10. Now try to change the values. We have written p is equal to 17, r is equal to 7, q is equal to 9. Now do the values actually change? Let us see it in detail so that you will be able to understand it properly. In Python, the values are actually objects. So the value, that is 10, represents an object. It is an object. Now we have assigned a is equal to 10. So a is a reference variable. Variable names are actually their reference names. So here 10 is an object and a is its reference name. Similarly, if we assign 10 to a variable b, then b will refer to the same object, that is 10. Here we have taken two variables, both with the same location. Now if we change the value of b, like b is equal to 20, then a new object will be created with a new location, that is 20, and this object will be referred by b. I hope now your concept is cleared. In Python, following data types come under mutable and immutable data types. Mutable means that it can be changed. So in mutable, we have list, dictionaries and sets. And in immutable, immutable means which cannot be changed. In immutable, we have integers, float, boolean, string and tuples. Okay, pay attention to the following commands. A is equal to 4. Type, in the bracket we have written 4. So here 4 is an object and its class is int. Int stands for integer. Now we have type A. Here A is referencing to the object which is of int class. So when we type print 4, so in the output we get 4. And when we type print A, then also we get 4 because A is equal to 4. We have assigned value 4 to variable, that is A. So when we type print 4, in the output we get 4, and when we type print A, we get 4. So the output will be same. Next, if we want to check the memory location of object 4, here value 4 and variable A are showing the same ID, means 4 is an object being referenced by A. That's why they are keeping the same ID. In Python, input function is used to take input which takes input in the form of string. But if you want to change the type of the data that we take as an input, then you can do the typecasting. It will be typecasted as per the requirement. For example, if you want to calculate the volume of a cylinder, int, in the bracket we will type input, in the bracket we will write enter the radius of the cylinder. So now we are taking the input from the user which will be converted into the integer data type. Similarly, we will let the user to enter the height. Then we will apply the formula volume is equal to 3.14 into radius into height. Then we will print the volume of the cylinder. What is a string? String is a set of characters which are enclosed in single quotes or double quotes. For example, we have to write any name like Rahul, Priya, etc. Or we have written any word or character which is enclosed in single quotes or double quotes. So that is called a string. Or a number. Like in this example, we have taken a string sub. Sub is equal to mathematics, and then we have printed the string print sub. So the output will be mathematics. We can also create an empty string. For example, if we have not written anything and it is enclosed in double quotes, we have left the space. Now how can we access the characters in the string? As we know that string is a collection of characters. We will start with index value 0 and then we will number it like 1, 2, 3, 4 till so on. The index number 0 represents the first character. Index number 1 represents the second character and so on. We can also access the characters in the reverse order. Index number -1 represents the last character of string. Index number -2 represents the second last character and so on. So there are two methods of indexing used in Python to represent the character of string, that is positive indexing and negative indexing. For example, we have taken a string that is Python program. So the character P is represented by index number 0. Y will represent index number 1. Index number 2 will be represented by character T. If we do it in the reverse order, then we will label character M as -1. So index -1 represents the character M. Index number -2 represents character A. R represents -3. G represents -4, till so on. So if we want to know that which character is present at which index number, we can display that in the output. For example, string index number 4 represents character O. So O will be displayed in the output. str in the bracket we have written 4. Similarly, we have written str in the bracket we have written 6. So 6 represents the blank space. Similarly, we have written str -4. So index number -4 represents G character. So we will get G as an output. Please note that if you give the index number out of the range, then we will get an error. For example, we have written string str14. So none of the character represents index number 14. There is no character which represents index 14. So we will get an error. Strings are immutable. This is very important. Please note this. Strings are immutable means that we cannot change them after creating them. Strings cannot be changed after they are created. Like in this example, we have written str2. In the bracket we have written 2 is equal to s. Since we have already assigned the string value, so we cannot change the string now. So error will come. Next topic, traversing a string. Traversing is the process to move from one character to another character. To traverse a string character by character wise. To traverse a whole string, for loop is used. Now how can we use the for loop? Please see in the example. We have written str, string is equal to review. So we have taken a string that is review. Now we will apply the for loop for I in str. I is any variable. For I in str, now we are displaying the value of I. So in the output we will get a review. First R will be printed, then E will be printed, then V will be printed, I, E, W. We can also display the string in the same line. Next we will study all the operations which are used in the string. In Python there are various operations to manipulate the string. If we manipulate means to change, to make changes. So there are 3 types of operations which we will study in this chapter. That is basic operators, membership operators, comparison operators. Now we will study them one by one. First is basic operations. 2 basic operators that are used in the string to manipulate the string. First is string concatenation operator. Concatenation means addition, to add one string to another string. This operation is used to concatenate 2 or more strings. For example, we have taken s1 is equal to hello, s2 is equal to world. Now we have taken another string that is s is equal to s1 plus s2. So we have concatenated, we have added both the string s1 plus s2. So in the output we will get hello world. Hello world will be displayed. Next we have taken 4. Since it is enclosed in single quotes, so it is a string 4 plus 5 which is equal to 45. Please note that if we add 4 plus 5 we will get 9 as an output, but since it is enclosed in single quotes, so it is a string, so it represents a string. So 4 के आगे 5 ऐड हो जाएगा, ठीक है, 4 के आगे 5 लग जाएगा. So we will get 45 as an output. Next example, ABC plus 1 2 3. So in the output we will get ABC 1 2 3, but we cannot add one string to integer value, then we will get the error. For example, ABC we have written in the single quotes, so it represents a string ABC plus 1 2 3. 1 2 3 is an integer value, so we cannot add a string to integer, so it will display an error. We will get an error. Next operator, that is string replication operator. This is an asterisk. So what does it do? This operator is used to replicate 2 string, means to create copies of strings. For example, we have written hello and then we have multiplied it with 2, asterisk 2. So hello will be displayed 2 times. If we use 3, then hello will be displayed 3 times. When two strings are used with asterisk operator, then it will return error. For example, hello multiply with world. We cannot use two string with asterisk operator, so we will get an error. Can't multiply sequence by non-int of type str. Next we will study about membership operators. This is also very important. Membership operator. So in this we are checking whether a substring is a part of a string. So we are checking whether one string is a part of another string. These operators are as follows. First is in operator. This operator returns true if the substring exists in a string. Now what is substring? Substring is a part of a string. Okay. So this operator returns true. आउटपुट में हमें ट्रू मिलेगा इफ़ द सबस्ट्रिंग एग्जिस्ट इन अ स्ट्रिंग. तो अगर वो स्ट्रिंग के अंदर ऑलरेडी प्रेजेंट है, अगर वो स्ट्रिंग का पार्ट है, देन वी विल गेट आंसर ट्रू, अदरवाइज फॉल्स विल बी डिस्प्लेड. फॉर एग्जांपल एच इन हेलो. सो एच इज़ इन द स्ट्रिंग दैट इज़ हेलो, सो वी विल गेट ट्रू. द इन honesty is the best policy. Please note that it is in the lower case. Okay, it is in lower case, and in the string it is in the T letter is in the upper case, so we will get false. ठीक है. Next is the in honesty is the policy. So since the is a part of the string, so we will get true. Next we have taken two strings, s is equal to hello and s1 is equal to hello world. Now we are checking whether s is in s1, means s is a part of s1, so it will return true. Not in operator. There is a typing mistake, please correct it. This operator returns true if the substring does not exist in a string. So इसका opposite होता है ये जो अभी हमने पहले पढ़ा, that is in operator. So now we are checking that it is not in the string. Okay, not in operator. So it returns true if the substring does not exist in a string and returns false otherwise. For example, a not in hello. Okay, so we will get true. The not in honesty is the best policy, so we will get false. Next we have taken three strings, that is s is equal to hello, s1 is equal to hello 1 2 3 world, s3 is equal to 1 2 3. Now we are checking whether s3 is in s1 or it is not in s1. ठीक है. So we have written s3 is not in s1, s3 not in s1, so that will return false. Next we will study about comparison operators. Comparison operator, as you already know that comparison operator is used to compare the two strings. ठीक है, is used to compare the two strings. These are also called relational operators. So suppose we want to check less than, greater than, equal to, not equal to, less than equal to, greater equal to. See, okay, so all this you already know. You can see it yourself. I am skipping it. Next topic, that is string slice. So slicing. Okay, in this we are dividing the string into small part. ठीक है. So if we divide a string into small parts, that becomes a substring. ठीक है. As we have already studied that substring is a part of string, so we can divide the strings. Next we have taken s, in the bracket we have written -3 colon -5, so blank space will be displayed. Similarly you can try the other example. Next, coming to the built-in, first is capitalize. This function is used to convert first character of string to capital letter. We have taken a string s1 is equal to Python program, then we have written command s1 dot capitalize. So Python program will be displayed, first character will be in capital letter, please note. Next is sended with the specified character. Function is used to return the string. Next is count. This function is used to return the number of occurrences of a substring in a given string. For example, we have taken a string s is equal to program publisher. Now we have written a command s dot count p, capital P. So here we are counting the occurrence of character, that is p. So capital P only comes once, it only comes one times. So in the output we will get 1. Next is ends with. Ends with. This function returns true if a string ends with a specified suffix. If not, then it will return false. You can see the example. Next is find. This function returns the index of the first occurrence of the substring. So if we want to find any character, or if we want to find the character which represents that index value, then we can use this function, that is find function. Next is index. This is used to represent the index of a substring. It returns the index value. Next is all num. This function returns true if all characters in the string are alphanumeric and false otherwise. If all the characters are alphanumeric, then we will get an output that is true. Otherwise we will get false. Okay, understood? You can see the example. Next is alpha. This function is used to return true if all the characters in the string are alphabets. अगर string में सभी characters alphabets हैं तो हमारे पास output में true आएगा, otherwise it will return false. For example, we have taken a string s1 is equal to hello world. Now we are checking whether all the characters are alphabets. So if there is a space, then we will get false as an output. If there is not, and if there is no space in the string, we will get true as an output, since all the characters are alphabets. So don't get confused. Also, we have taken an example, s3 is equal to hello world 1 2 3. So since there are 1 2 3 in this string, this is not alphabet. All alphabets are not there, so it will return false. Next is digit. This function returns true if all the characters in the string are digit. अगर सिर्फ वो नंबर से बनी हो string, so it will return true, otherwise it will return false. Next is lower. This function returns true if all the alphabets in the string are in lower case. ठीक है, all the alphabets are lower case, small, otherwise it will return false. Next is space. This function returns true if there are spaces, if there are only white space characters in the string, otherwise it will return false. Next is upper. This function is used to return whether or not all the characters in the string are in uppercase or not. So we are checking whether all the characters of the string are in uppercase or not. Next is join function. This function returns a string concatenated with the elements. So if we want to join one string with another string, we can join them. Next you can see the other functions like ljust, rjust, lower. Lower is opposite of upper. Then next function is upper. This function is used to convert all the uppercase characters in a string into lowercase characters, or we can also convert the uppercase character into lowercase character. Next is length function. This function returns the number of characters in the string. Okay, if we want to check the length of the string, that how many characters are there in the string. Next is max function. This function returns the largest character or element in a string. Next is min function. This function returns the smallest character or the element in a string. Next we can also sort the array using the sorted function. Okay, sorted function is used to sort the characters of the string based on ASCII value. ASCII means American Standard Code for Information Interchange. Next is lstrip, rstrip. What does strip function do? Strip function is used to return a copy of the string with leading or trailing characters removed. So it will remove the spaces, it will remove the blank white spaces, and then it will return the string in the output. Next is replace function. This method is used to return a copy of the string where all occurrences of a substring is replaced with another string. I hope everything is clear to you. Lists are the containers which store heterogeneous elements of any type. We can store any type of data in the list. Lists are mutable, means we can modify the list after the creation. We can easily add and remove elements from the list. Lists are similar to tuples and strings, but lists are mutable while string and tuple are immutable. In the last video I told you that strings are immutable. Okay, so now let us see how we can create a list. In Python we can create different type of list. First is empty list. This type of list does not contain any element. This list is equivalent to 0, or we can say it is empty. We have not passed any element. So when we print the list, print L, then it will show the empty list. Next is mixed data type list. This type of list contains different data type elements. Elements in the mixed data type list are type of integers, string, etc. So we can include integers, strings, and we can also add another list. Next is long list. In Python you can create long list which contains many elements that may be different or same. So we can add many elements into a list. This type of list can contain many elements. Next, how can we create a list from existing sequence? List can be created from existing sequence such as tuples, string, etc. So we can create a list using those strings or tuple. Element of list will be represented individually separated by comma. So like in this example, we are creating a list. L is equal to list. In the bracket we have written program. So we are passing a string. We have written a string that is program. So now when we display list, that is L, so it will display all the elements of the string individually separated by comma. We can also let the user to input the list elements. Python also allows us to create list of digit or strings which can be entered through keyboard. So user can enter the elements of the list. How can we access the elements in the list? List can be accessed by index number. With the help of index number, you can access the individual elements from the list. Like we studied in the last class, there are two ways of indexing. One is positive indexing and the other is negative indexing, or we can say reverse indexing. So let us study them one by one. Index number 0 represents the first element of the list. Index number 1 represents the second element, and so on. This is called positive indexing. Similarly, the index number -1 represents the last element of the list. -2 represents the second last element. -3 represents the third last element, and so on. This is called negative indexing. So we can represent the elements in any way as we wish. Like in this example, we have written the command L, in the bracket we have written 2. The element representing the index number 2 will be displayed, that is -44. Next, L, in the bracket we have written -3. So element corresponding to the index number -3 will be displayed, that is the. So the string the will be displayed. Next we can also add and display the list elements. Like in this example we have written L, in the bracket we will write 2 plus L, in the bracket we will write -2. So 44 minus 44 plus 34, that is equal to -10. If you will give decimal number or string as an index number, then it will give an error. For example, we have written L, in the bracket we have written 2.5. So it will display an error. Next topic is traversing. Traversing a list is a process to iterate the element, to move from one element to another element in a list. Moving from one element to another is called traversing. With the help of traversing, you can iterate all or particular element of a list. Now in last class I told you that how we can traverse a string. So first way is using the for loop. For loop allows to iterate or traverse all the elements of the list for I in list, and then we will print the value of I. I is any variable. So we have taken a list containing elements W, O, R, L, D, 8, 3. So in the output we will get W, O, R, L, D, 8, 3. I hope you understood this. Next we can also display the strings. We can also display the elements in the same line. How to do this? Print, and in the bracket we have written I, end is equal to double quotes, and then we will close the bracket. So the output will be displayed in the same line. Next, we can also access the elements of a list using the range function. If you want to traverse the specified elements of the list, you must use the range function. If you want only some specific elements, then we can use the range function. So that is the difference. Now what are the operations which we can perform on list? First is concat list. Concat means to add two lists together, to add one list with another list. For example, L1 is equal to, in the bracket we have written 45, 11, 7, and we have taken another list. L2 is equal to, in the bracket we have written 4, 79, 3. So we have taken two lists. Now we are taking another list. L is equal to L1 plus L2. So we are combining the two lists, L1 plus L2. So in the output we will get 45, 11, 7, 4, 79, 3. So the concatenate operator is used when two lists are to be joined. If you add one list to another list using concat operator, if you add one list to an integer or string, then it will give an error. For example, L is equal to L1 plus 8. So the error will be displayed. Next is replicating the list. Replicating means to make the copy of the list, to multiply a list with a variable. For example, L1 is equal to 45, 11, 7. So we have taken a list containing elements 45, 11, 7. Now we are multiplying L1 with 2, L1 asterisk 2. So now it will create a copy of L1. Replicating operator is used when one list is to be replicated. But if you want to use two lists as operands with replicate operator, then it will give an error. For example, we have taken a list L1 and we have taken another list, that is L2. Now if we multiply L1 with L2, L1 asterisk L2, then it will give an error because we cannot multiply, we cannot replicate the two lists together with each other. Next is slicing. Slicing is a process to extract the subpart of the list, to divide the list into small parts. In Python, indexing is used for slicing the list. Now we can divide a list by using indexing. So this is a syntax. List name, in the bracket we will pass the starting value and the ending value. Start colon stop. Start stands for starting value and stop stands for the ending value. So we have taken any list. For example, we have taken a list containing elements 45, 50, 55, Neha, Riya, 20, 25, ABC. So now we can slice the list. List 1, in the bracket we have written 2 colon 4. So the starting value is 2 and the ending value is 4. So those elements which start with index value 2 and 3 will be displayed. So in the output we will get 55, Neha. Next we have written command list 1. In the bracket we have written 0 colon 4. So those elements having index value 0 to 3 will be displayed. Index value 0 represents 45. So 45 will be displayed. Index value 1 represents 50. So 50 will be displayed. Index value 2 represents 55. So 55 will be displayed. Index value 3 represents Neha. So Neha will be displayed. Please note that the list can be modified using slicing. Lists are mutable, means they can be modified after creation. So we can modify the list using the slicing. Next topic, working with list. Various operations can be performed on the list, such as appending, updating, deleting, etc. Appending elements. Appending means to add individual elements to an existing list. For this, append method is used. For example, we have written list is equal to, we have taken a list containing elements 45, 34, 12, 45. So we have taken a list. Now we are appending an element, that is 66. So we have written a command, that is list, append. In the bracket we have written 66. So now 66 will be added to the list. Updating elements to a list. Since the lists are mutable, so it can be modified. You can update or change the elements in the list using the index number. For example, we have taken list. Now we want to change the element which represents the index number 1. So the index number 1 represents element that is 33, and now we want to change it to 49. So we can modify the elements using the index value. So now in place of 33, 49 will be displayed. So 33 is replaced with 49. Next is deleting element from the list. How we can delete elements from a list? Elements can be deleted from a list using del keyword, del keyword. Suppose we want to delete any element from the existing list. We have already created a list. Now we want to delete an element corresponding to index number 2. So the index number 2 represents 12. So 12 will be deleted from the list. Next, we can also delete the elements from a particular range. Other method which is used to delete an element from the list is pop. Okay, अब हम आगे बढ़ते हैं. Next topic is list method. There are many methods to manipulate a list in a Python. Extend. This method is used to add multiple elements to a list. So we can extend any list. This is different from append method which we have discussed earlier. Append methods add individual elements, while extend method adds multiple elements to a list. We can add one list to another list using extend. So suppose we have taken a list that is L1 and we have taken another list that is L2, and now we have written command L1 dot extend, in the bracket we have written L2. So in the end we have added list L2, and now the list L1 contains L1 and the elements of L2 also. Next is insert. Like append and extend method, insert method is used to add elements in a list but at specified index number. Remove. This method is used to remove the element which is passed as an argument. Pop method is used to remove the element whose index number is given as an argument. So we can remove any element from the list. Like we have taken an example, list1 dot remove. In the bracket we have written 76. So we want to remove the element 76. So now the list 1 will be displayed and the element 76 will be removed from it. But if you pass an element which is not in the list, in the existing list, then it will show an error. Error will be displayed. Reverse method. This method is used to reverse the elements of a list. So now the list will be reversed and will be displayed in reversed order. Sort method. This method is used to arrange the elements in ascending order in a list. If you want to arrange the elements in alphabetical order or in a sequence, list1 dot sort, then all the elements will be arranged in a sequence. Dictionary is mutable, which means that they can be changed after creation. Like I told you in the last class about list, tuple and string. I hope you have seen the previous video. If you haven't seen, then I will give the link in the description box. So in the dictionary, we store the data in key value pair. Each key value pair is separated by comma. So how do we create a dictionary? The syntax to create a dictionary is, first we will write the dictionary name. Dictionary name is equal to, first we will start the curly braces, key1 colon value 1, comma, key 2 colon value 2, comma, key 3 colon value 3, till so on. So we can create key value pairs. We can create as many key value pairs as we want. Please students, इसे ध्यान से देखना, सीट केयरफुली, अदरवाइज आगे कुछ भी समझ नहीं आएगा. तभी मैं स्ट्रेस दे रहा हूँ इस चीज़ पे. ना समझ आए तो मुझे कमेंट बॉक्स में बता देना. So let us take an example. We have created a dictionary with name dic1. Dic1 is equal to, in the curly braces we have written color colon blue. So this is a key value pair, first key value pair, comma, fruit colon mango. This is a second key value pair, price colon 11. This is a third key value pair, and then we have closed the curly braces. So we have created a dictionary. Now let us see the relationship between key value pair of the above dictionary. So first key value pair is color colon blue. So here the key is color and the value is blue. Second key value pair is fruit colon mango. So the key here is fruit and the value is mango. Third key value pair price colon 100. So here the key is price and the value is 100. Next, the dictionaries are also called associative arrays or mapping or hashes. A dictionary operation that takes a key and finds the corresponding value is called lookup. So we can find the corresponding key value pairs. If we want to find the value of the key, then we can find it, and if we want to find the number of keys, then we can also find that. Next topic, how we can access the elements of our dictionary. Like in the list and strings which we have studied earlier, indexing is used to access the elements, while in dictionary key is used to access the element. So here we have not used the index, we are using the key. Key is used to access the elements. अगर हमें कोई element को access करना है, कोई element find करना है, so we will use the key. For example, we will write the dictionary name and in the bracket we will write the key. So we will get the corresponding value of the key. Like in this example, we have created a dictionary state. State is equal to Uttar Pradesh colon Lucknow, Maharashtra colon Mumbai, comma Madhya Pradesh colon Bhopal, Rajasthan colon Jaipur. Now we are finding the value of Madhya Pradesh. So we have written state, in the bracket we have written Madhya Pradesh. We have written the key Madhya Pradesh. So we get the corresponding value of the key, and in the output Bhopal, we will get Bhopal. Bhopal will be displayed. If you give the key that is not exist, that is not present in the dictionary, then it will show error. Next topic, traversing a dictionary. Traversing is a process to iterate or access each element of dictionary to move from one element to another element, or if we want to find any element of the dictionary, that is called the traversing. For loop is used to iterate all elements of a dictionary. For example, here we have taken a dictionary student is equal to roll number colon 35, name colon Vihan, subject colon computer. For key in student, so we are using for loop for key in student colon print key comma colon student, in the bracket we have written key. So we will get the output. Now if you want to access any key or value simultaneously, then how we can do this? So we can access all the elements or all the values simultaneously in dictionary. To access keys, use this keyword, that is key. Like in this example, we have written student keys. So all the keys will be printed, and if we want to display the values, all the values, then we will give the command, we will write student.values. So all the values will be displayed which are present in the dictionary. Next, what are the characteristics of a dictionary? First point, list, string and tuple are all in a sequence, but dictionary is not in a particular sequence. Dictionary is an unordered collection. Next point, second point, keys must be unique. We cannot use the same keys. Keys should not be duplicate. They must be unique, which is used to identify the values of dictionary. Yes, we can use the same values. Values can duplicate, but keys cannot. So please remember this point. Next point, third point, mutable. Dictionaries are mutable, means they can be modified after creation. We can add or delete element, key value pair from it. To change value of respective keys, like here we have written dictionary name, in the bracket we have written key is equal to value. Next point, fourth point, indexed by keys. So in the dictionary we are using the keys which are acting as an index. So keys are used to access the elements of the dictionary, while in list, tuple and strings we have used the index number to access the elements. Next topic is working with dictionary. How we can work with dictionaries. So various operations can be performed in dictionaries. First, we can create a dictionary. You should know how we can create a dictionary. We can also create an empty dictionary. Next, adding elements into a dictionary. After creating a dictionary, elements can be added to it. How we can add the elements? Suppose we have created a dictionary already. Next, we can add any key and we can assign a value to it. So that key value pair will be added to the dictionary. Next, we can update the existing elements in a dictionary. Suppose we want to change the value of a particular key. So we can change it. For example, we have written employee, in the bracket we have written salary. Now as we know that the value of salary is 30,000. Now we are changing it to 35,000. So we will write employee, in the bracket we will write salary is equal to 35,000. So now we have changed the value of key salary. Next, checking for existence of a key. If we want to check whether the key is present in the dictionary, if we want to find whether any particular key is present in the dictionary or not, so we will use the syntax key in dictionary name, key not in dictionary name. For example, employee is equal to name colon Shekhar comma salary colon 30,000 comma post colon accountant. Now we are checking whether age is present in dictionary employee. So we have written age in employee. So it will display false as the key age is not present in the dictionary. Next we have written salary in employee. So we will get output true as salary is present in the dictionary employee. Next we will study the dictionary functions and methods. Various built-in functions and methods in Python are used to manipulate the dictionaries. First, len. Len stands for length. This method is used to return the length of the dictionary. So it counts the number of the elements, or we can say it counts the key value pairs which are present in the dictionary. Suppose we have taken any dictionary state and now we want to find the length. So we will write len. In the bracket we will write state. Len state. So we will get the output 5. There are 5 key value pairs present in the dictionary. Next, second, clear. This method is used to remove all the elements of a dictionary. So in the output we will get empty as all the key value pairs are deleted now. Third, get. This method is used to return the value of respective key. If key is not present in the dictionary, it will give error message. Error will be displayed. Next is items. This method is used to return all the elements in all key value pairs. Next, keys. This method returns only keys of the dictionary. Next, values. This method returns only values of a dictionary. So how do we write this? The syntax is dictionary name dot values. So we will get all the values of the dictionary. Next is update. This method updates the existing dictionary with new dictionary if needed. So suppose there is already a existing dictionary, that is dictionary 1. Now we want to add dictionary 2 in it. So we can add dictionary 2 in dictionary 1. So we have written the syntax. So how do we write it? We have written dictionary 1 dot update. In the bracket we have written dictionary 2. So now the dictionary 2 will be added to dictionary 1. So we can update, we can make changes in the dictionary. So what is a module? A module is a part of a program. Program can be composed of one or more modules. In Python module, we can define different functions, classes and variables. A program is made up of module and a module can be made up of further submodules. We can import module if we want to use it. To perform mathematical calculations, we import math module. To find the square root of any number, sqrt function is used in Python. So first we will import math module. The square root of 49 is 7. Ceil function gives the smallest integer but not less than that number. For example, math.ceil 79.23, हमारे पास आंसर आएगा 80. Next is floor function. It returns the value which is equal or less than that number. For example, math.floor 82.45. So the answer will come 82. Math.floor minus 82.45. इसमें जो आंसर आएगा that is minus 83. Next is power function. POW function. It returns x raised to power y. For example, POW 5,3. So the answer will be 125. 5 cube is equal to 125. FABS function. It returns the positive value of the number. This positive value is called the absolute value. For example, math.fabs minus 67. So the answer will be the positive value of minus 67, which is 67. Random function. Random function returns any random value. It can be any value. We can also provide the range, for example, starting and the ending. Next is statistics module. The statistics module provides function for calculating mathematical statistics of numeric data. To calculate the mean function is used, and to calculate the median, we use median function. To calculate the mod, we use mod function. So first we have to import statistics module. So we have given any list containing random values 23, 65, 89, 78, 45. So we have to calculate the mean of these values. So we will write statistics dot mean bracket. In the bracket we will write list 1. So the answer will be 60. Similarly, we can calculate the median and the mod. Today we will learn how to type formula in Python. So suppose we have to type a formula AB plus C. So how we will type this formula? A into B plus C. Okay, A into B plus C. Next we have to type a formula A plus B plus C divided by 3. So how we will write this? We will start the bracket A plus B plus C bracket close divided by 3. Okay, understood? Next formula 4x cube plus 3x plus 7. So how we will type this formula? 4 into x into x into x plus 3 into x plus 7. Another way of writing this formula is 4 into, now we can write like this, 4, we can write like this, x into 3. This is raised to power, okay, raised to power, x raised to power 3, x cube, okay, plus 3x plus 7. Now we have to type this formula. We have to type another formula, that is half a plus b into h. Okay, so how we will type this formula? Half into a plus b into h. Okay, let us do one question. Write the corresponding Python expressions for the following mathematical expressions. First is under root of a square plus b square plus c square. So how we will type this formula? First we will write math.sqrt. In the bracket we will write a asterisk a into a plus b into b plus c into c. Second part is p plus q upon r plus 5 raised to power 4. So how we will write this formula? P plus q divided by math.pow, math.pow, because r plus 5 raised to power 4. Okay, next is 5 raised to power x minus x, and we have to calculate the mod value. Okay, so we will write math.fabs. In the bracket we will write math.pow 5 comma x minus x bracket close. One thing you have to remember, that as many bracket you will start, you have to close those brackets. Next is 2 minus 4 z raised to power 2y plus 4y. So how we will type this formula? 2 minus 4 into math.pow. In the bracket we will write z comma 2y plus 4 into y. Next question, write a Python program to calculate the area of a triangle using Heron's formula. Okay, S is equal to, you know what is S? A plus B plus C divided by 2, and the formula of to calculate the area of triangle is area is equal to under root of S into S minus minus A, S minus B, S minus C. Take another variable B, and we will take another variable, that is C. We will write the formula S is equal to A plus B plus C divided by 2. Area is equal to, then we will write the formula of area. Area is equal to math.sqrt. In the bracket we will write S into S minus A into S minus B into S minus C bracket close. Then we will print the value of area of triangle. So our first program is to display any message on the screen. Next program is to find the area of rectangle. So in this program we will take 3 variables. First is the length, second is breadth, and the third one is area. Input function is used to take input from the user. We will let the user to enter the length and breadth. We will take input from the user. Then we will apply the formula of area. Area is equal to length into breadth. Print function is used to display the value on the screen. Now we will display the value of area. Next program is to find the area of circle. So we have taken a variable, that is r. We will let the user to enter the radius of circle. We will take input from the user, and then we will apply the formula of area. Area of circle, that is equal to 3.14 into r. Then we will display the value of area. Next program is to find the area of cuboid. So here we have taken length, breadth and height. We will let the user to enter the value of length, breadth and height, and then we will apply the formula area is equal to 2 into, and in the bracket we will write length into breadth plus breadth into height plus height into length, and then we will display the value of area. So in this case the user has entered the length, that is 10, breadth 20, height 10, so the area will come out to be 1000. Similarly, you can try these programs to find the curved surface area of cylinder, to find the total surface area of cylinder, to calculate the curved surface area of cone, total surface area of right circular cone, total surface area of sphere, volume of cuboid. Write a program to calculate the volume of cube, volume of cylinder. So all the programs, so basically all the problems which we study in mathematics, we can apply the formula and then we can do those problems in Python. Next program is to calculate the greatest number, to find the largest number out of the three numbers. So we have entered three numbers, we have taken three numbers. Suppose we have taken A, B and C. We will let the user to enter the value of first number, second number and third number. We will apply the condition. We will use if else loop. So we will apply the condition if A is greater than B. Then we will again apply the condition if A is greater than C. So in this case, if A is greater than C, so the greatest number will be A. Else the greatest number is C. Else if B is greater than C, we will print the greatest number is B. Else the greatest number is C. Next program, to find the perimeter of a triangle. So we know that the perimeter of triangle is equal to the sum of all the three sides of triangle. So we will let the user to enter the first side, second side and the third side. Then we will apply the formula perimeter is equal to A plus B plus C. Then we will print the value of perimeter. Next question is to find the greatest number out of the four numbers. So you can do this question. This is exactly the same like the previous one. In next question, we are finding whether a person is a teenager or mature or experienced based on the value of the age. User will enter his or her age and then we will apply the condition. Next program is to calculate the sum of n numbers. So we will let the user to enter the limit, that how many numbers the user want to enter. Then we will take a variable, that is s, sum. We have to calculate the sum, so we have taken a variable, that is s. In the starting, s is equal to 0, sum, the value of sum is equal to 0. Then we will use the range function for c in range. To find the area of a triangle, to convert Celsius into Fahrenheit, to calculate simple interest, to calculate the average temperature of week, to read a number and print n square, n cube and n raised to power 4, to take the value of x, y, z and calculate the equation, to input the height in centimeter and convert into foot and inches, to check whether the given year is leap year or not, To check whether the numbers are divisible by each other or not. To check whether a given number is a prime number or not. To perform arithmetic operation. To calculate the roots of a given quadratic equation. To input a digit and print it in words. To print first n odd numbers in descending order. To find the sum of n natural numbers. To find the sum of first n even numbers. To find the sum of first n odd numbers. To read the today's date from user and display how many days are left in the current month. To display the following pattern. This is also called pyramid. I hope you like this video. Do give your valuable suggestions and write in the comment box on which topic you want us to make video. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching this video.